Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. For Chop Squad, I want you to join me in welcoming Mr. Neill Davis. He's an attorney and an entrepreneur. Those of you who are watching, you can see this face, but if you're doing on the podcast, he's like, who is Mr. Oh my goodness, I read that real good. He's as an entrepreneur, he's led his solely owned firm, Davis Business Law, through over 1,000% growth in over 6 years, making it one of the very few rare law firms ever to make the Inc. 5000 list. The firm currently has 7 offices from Dallas to Kansas City. Martindale Hubble recognized Davis with its prestigious AV rating as one of the preeminent attorneys in America for demonstrating the highest levels of skill and integrity. With over 25 years of experience helping business leaders in their legal and entrepreneurial matters, Davis now teaches them how to deal with their vulnerabilities so that they can capitalize on their opportunities through his firm's proprietary strong protected business system and its trademark people. He has presented his programs to prestigious business groups such as the Inc. 5000 Masterclass and the Young Presidents Organization Global Forum. He also regularly appears on podcasts and in the media. Inc. magazine actually published his first book, The Art of Preventing Stupid, in 2019, and the follow-up, The Strong Protected Business. That's actually slated for publication in 2023. So we look forward to that, Matthew.
Thank you.
All right. He also shares his extensive knowledge as host through his podcast, The Strong Protected Business and The Art of Preventing Stupid. Now, we said stupid a couple of times. He's going to explain and expound upon that later on. Davis is a graduate of Cornell College, the University of Oklahoma, and Cornell University. He has extensive litigation and business representation experience. He has served as lead or co-counsel in litigation cases with recoveries in excess of $50 million. He is a member of the Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas Bar Associations. Attorney Neill Davis, are you ready to chop it up?
Let's do it. Chop, 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 chop.
All right. Well, it's awesome to have you today, and looking forward to our conversation and see what we can learn from you so we can get off stupid and get to success.
Well, we like to talk about that. I use that word. I came up with that title because, I'm trying to provoke entrepreneurs to slow down, let's calm down, let's think a little bit more about our weaknesses and threats.
Okay.
Because I got a little tagline that I like to toss out, which is, if you will deal with your vulnerabilities, you can capitalize on your opportunities. And it's a little line, but we're the ones that get called when they run their businesses in the ditch. And, frankly, for us, it's a lot more fun when we're helping them build something.
Right. What is that number one mistake then that gets us in that ditch?
Well, honestly, the number one mistake that entrepreneurs make is getting into business partnerships that they don't have any business getting into.
Wow.
It is. When a lot of people will get in business because they think that they need somebody else to shore them up.
Yeah.
And it's on one hand, it's understandable, but I'm kind of cut to the chase. I'm like, being in a business partnership's like being married without sex. Do you really want to sign up for that? Come on. And then you got everybody second guessing your decisions or your partner. And 99 times out of 100, it doesn't work. Now, there's exceptions to that. I was in a entrepreneurs organization meeting, and one of my friends and I got into it because on exactly this subject, and he was taking the other side. And I said, yeah, but you're talking about sophisticated investors who are investing, putting cash in a property deal. And that's one thing. And, it's well papered up. Everybody understands their obligations and their potential benefits. But, a small startup entrepreneur going in with a partner, man, your chances of failure on that, frankly, you just vastly increased your chances of tanking your business.
Can you expound upon that? Is it like a tug of war, or because each person thinks they have the best ideas?
Yeah, it can be tug of war, or you can end up with somebody just crazy. They can lose their minds, they can get divorced. And a lot of people go through a lot of changes when they get divorced.
Yeah.
Or you can outgrow them. You may get a partner in your business and you go, oh, I need him for this skill set to get us up and running, and then maybe they never grow with you, and all of a sudden you don't need them and you just have somebody useless sitting around your company taking half of the profits.
Yeah,
that'll really chap a man or woman that's working, when you got somebody who's just sitting over here. We were talking about one last week.
mm-hmm.
And these guys were business partners, and the one that owned 51% just decided he's going to go to Colombia and chill out and leave the other one at the office working. I mean, he was there for like a year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we see stuff like this all the time.
That's crazy. That's why I think sometimes, a lot of people get the virtual assistants or just hire executive assistants to work with them.
Yeah. Well,
directors. Mm-hmm.
The thing about business is you're constantly having to learn something new. Okay. And that's one thing we talk about all the time, is teaching people to think really intensely about what they're ignorant about. And I use the word ignorant because I'm trying to provoke people to think about it, because nobody wants to be ignorant, especially cocky entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you just are constantly having to learn skill sets, and and people will say, rather than accepting that challenge and just accepting that reality, they'll try and plug some other person in there who they think has the skill set they need, but usually don't. And by the way, the other thing we see a lot is people will get into these arrangements and then they never get it papered up. They never get their operating agreement or bylaws written up. And holy guacamole, that's really fun.
Wow. So the expectations are not the same at that point.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that leads me into another question about business owners, protecting their businesses, being more proactive.
Yeah. Well, the thing we teach them, and we've got several tools we use, because we really work hard with our businesses. Let's get ahead of your problems. And again, because it's value added for them. But we also like working with businesses that are, dealing with opportunities more than problems, because that's what we deal with, is either a problem or an opportunity. And the Art of Preventing Stupid has the first tool that we use, really highlighted in that book. And we call it the Business Immune System Report. It's a chart that defines 21 questions based on three categories and 7 categories. So that's 21 right there, 3 times 7. Okay. And we look at the systems of your business, which are going to be your management, your personnel, your metrics, your marketing and your sales. Marketing and sales are different. And then your facilities or plant, whichever one you want to call it. And what we're trying to teach people how to do is how to brainstorm effectively about what can go wrong, right? Because even with that list of 7 things, you can ask a whole lot smarter questions than this question. Here's the dumb question. What can go wrong in my business?
Right.
Okay, that's not an informed question. Okay, what can go wrong with our marketing? Okay, that's better.
Yeah, it's more.
Okay, that's better. Or what can go wrong with our sales? Now, let's add another layer on there. And the thing we teach people is you can define almost all of the sources of your threats from 3 sources. Number one, just catastrophes. Okay, that's the word I used. You can call it disasters. You can call it sucker punches. Pick your synonym. I used catastrophes and I wrote the book, so I got to pick the word.
Yes.
Yeah, and so now let's go. Okay, let's go through those 3. Number 2, ignorance, which is what you don't know, skill sets you need to learn, and just things that you're lacking, just know-how. And then the 3rd category there is going to be ineptitude, and ineptitude means you're slacking off, you're getting lazy, you're getting cocky, you're not paying attention. Okay. And so you're going to see ignorance more in smaller companies and ineptitude more in developed companies. Now, there's obviously some gray area between those, but what we're trying to do and what we teach people is you define your questions like this. Okay, so what's a catastrophe that can strike the management? Okay, that's a lot smarter question than what could possibly go wrong.
Right. Because you're defining it more.
Yeah. And if you brainstorm, if you ask the smart questions, then you're just going to get better answers. Some of the obvious ones are, well, I could have a heart attack and die, and or I could lose my mind, or you can come up with there's just some stock ones that come up all the time. And then you can have another question. Let's just go across. What is the management ignorant about? Okay, we used to have a hard time some of this is process and error. We had a hard time figuring out how to recruit, because we're a law firm, we're in the talent business, and it's a battle for talent. I mean, we're constantly scrapping with the big law firms, stealing their attorneys most of the time, so to speak. And I'm joking, but but we define what our employment looks like against them. But learning that skill set, learning how to recruit, learning how to interview, and you might put that in personnel or you might put it in management. It's not a hard and fast deal. We're just teaching people how to ask smart questions, because then when they get down to the nuts and bolts, to the nitty gritty, then they can go, oh, okay, now I can deal with this vulnerability, so I can capitalize on my opportunities, right?
Right.
No, and it just is it's another way of really adding value to our clients. And from my perspective, it's so fun to see these businesses just take off and succeed and not struggle because they're not digging down, not really understanding the root problems of what are setting them back.
What should business owners look for then in hiring a lawyer or a law firm?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, there's 2 things. Number one, somebody who can communicate and who is going to communicate with you. Because, our firm's tagline, right, on our logo is smart business decisions. Mm-hmm. And we, smart business decisions get made when people have, good information. And so you need to know about your case. You need to, and by the case, you need to know what's going on with the other side. And frankly, you need to know what's going on financially with your case. We had a client this last week kind of get on our case, and he's like, why do you bill me every 2 weeks? And We said, because we're keeping you updated where you are financially, because, we understand that our bills, our invoices, our charges can become a problem in your life. You are a small business, you're looking for practical solutions. We're not litigating for Exxon. You don't have an unlimited bank account. And we try and communicate up front about money and stay retainer positive, meaning that they keep money on deposit with us, because what that does is that signals to them, that lets them know, that is communication. Okay. So number one thing you look for in a firm is one that is going to communicate with you and get you good information. And, the thing that we're really good at, one of the things we're really good at, and this is, I think, instructive to your question. A lot of law firms just go around and hire anybody with a bar card and a pulse that they can get in the door. And, we hire people, attorneys, with really good interpersonal skills, because, if they can't communicate and explain things to our clients, they're just not a fit. And, we walked away from a couple, 3 attorneys that we spent some money on. We flew them into Oklahoma City to interview them, and we were just like, no, you can't talk to humans. Go back, go be a nerd for some big law firm.
Right. Goodness. And that speaks to the culture in your company, as well as our company that you're helping us to grow.
Yeah. And yes. And we're really hardcore on culture. I mean, our core values are, number one, believe and protect their dreams. Mm-hmm. By the way, it goes both ways, because I want to be able to believe and protect the dreams of everybody that's working for us. And if I can't, we don't hire them, because Richard Branson teaches, if you will take care of your employees, if they're happy, productive employees and can serve your clients, guess what? They're going to take care of your clients.
That's right.
And, 2 is create solutions. That's another thing about attorneys. A lot of attorneys just love the problems. They just like to look at a problem, noodle around with it, and they sort of like to admire the problem rather than create the solution. And not oddly, in our questions when we're interviewing really dig down into that, to look for people who are creative and who are trying to figure out solutions for stuff, instead of just loving the problem, because they'll get off in the weeds about the legal process of, well, we're going to have to go file some stupid motion to go compel or what. It's just like, no, shut up. These people, they need practical solutions for problems. And core value 3, communicate, constant communication. And 4 is teamwork equals dream work, which is, we play team ball. And, people are kind of surprised when, they'll hear from case finance, which is communication too, and they'll hear from customer service every week. And, that's teamwork for our clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, in your book, you talk about all business being a series of circular systems.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
What do you mean by that?
That's what I was talking about when I talked about, I had them a little out of order when I talked about them before, because I need a nap. Because I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I just did. And but you've got in the middle, you've got management, and I wish I knew who came up with this, but I don't. Okay. But it works. In the middle, you're going to have your management, and then you're going to have people. Now, if you're just a small business, and it could just be you. I have one of my buddies just runs a plumbing outfit, and he runs it out of his truck now. He got tired of having employees. He said, I can make as much money just being me running it out of my truck, right?
Right.
So, now his personnel used to be him and 10 guys. Now it's just him. Okay. So think about that as one spoke, and then let's go around, and they do production. So, they do plumbing. Okay, we do law. You can go do, electrical work. You can go do, marketing. You can go do graphic design, whatever. That's your production.
Okay.
And then you have to have your facilities, your plant, whatever you want to call it. My buddy who's out plumbing, he's working in other people's houses. His plant may be his car, his truck, or whatever. Ours is this beautiful office around me, 525 West Main Street. And some people, but we also have offices all over. I mean, I'm in Oklahoma right now. Naturally, my right-hand lawyer's in Portland, Oregon, So, facilities has gotten weird in recent years.
Yeah. Post-COVID.
And then you got to do the metrics of how to measure, to make sure you're being productive, to make sure you're being profitable. Those are two really important metrics in business. And so, we do productivity reports every Monday and various financial reports every week. So that's the next system. Then the next system is marketing, and that's how you get the work. Okay.
Yes.
And by the way, you need to measure your marketing too. I teach a class called How to Manage a Digital Marketing Agency. Because we measure it. We're like, here's where we expect to be. If you're not here, we're going to have a talk. And oh yeah, I've lost it on a couple marketing agencies because digital marketing is it can just be a black hole of money if you don't measure it. So okay,
that's true.
Marketing, and then beyond that is sales, which is how you take those phone calls, those meetings, how you take those opportunities that your marketing gets you. And then that's when you get the opportunity to work and get paid. And then guess what? We're going back to the beginning. The people have to do the work, right?
Yes.
That's the circular system. And so what we plug that in to the business immune system report. And then when you ask the questions about what are our catastrophes that can make that go wrong? What ignorance do we have about how to make that effective? All of those parts effective. And then where are we slacking off? Mm-hmm. And if you ask those questions about those 7 systems, wow, all of a sudden you're putting some octane in your tank.
Right. So this is your strong protected business system you're talking about.
This is part of it. And your main thought is let's brainstorm. Okay, we got 2 brainstorming tools. The other one's pretty similar. It's more about like the competition and our friends in the government and what they're doing to us, right? Things of that nature.
That's right.
Yeah, they're a lovely bunch. And okay, so we got a couple brainstorming tools. And then we prioritize, and then we execute. And what we really look at it like is that whole strong protective business system is sort of like looking at the negative side of your strategic planning. Because my estimation, drawn from quite a bit of experience, is that business leaders, particularly small business leaders, are really good at thinking about their strengths and opportunities. They're not so good about thinking about their weaknesses and threats. And so we like to help them because that's where our expertise is, because we're the ones that get the call when things go bad, right?
That's right.
So we feel like we have some expertise there, and we like to help them go, okay, let's unpack and let's brainstorm, let's figure out how to deal with your weaknesses, your threats, plug it into how you deal with your strategic plan, and you're dealing with those, man. You're the strongest player on the field. You're getting the opportunities.
How can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, we're davisbusinesslaw.com is our website. And by the way, got a really great tool over there called a Strong Protected Business Checklist.
Okay.
And just go over to our resources tab. And I think this is really cool. What we did, I had all the attorneys brainstorm the problems that our clients got into. And then we made a list of, the common ones that kept coming up. And then we categorized those by, business partner issues or, marketing issues or whatever. And then we also went through and we said, hey, if you're just starting up, say you got 0 to 5 employees, don't worry about some of these. But when you got 5 to 15 employees, this becomes more important. And so we made 4 different categories of how big your company is and when you should definitely start being concerned about it. Because, it's I don't know, there's 50 or 60 items on the checklist. You're not going to do them all in a day. But it's a great tool for a lot of small businesses. And we put reasoning for why we put them all on there. And great tool that has helped a lot of small businesses just start to build that protection into their business.
Awesome. So hopefully we'll take advantage of that and follow up with you, checking out your books and your podcast as well. One major thing that I had read we didn't talk about, this metal business or this metal that you used to be involved in. When I listen to your podcast, it starts off with this, cool rock music.
Yeah, well, I'll show you. I've got, here's one of my Gibson Flying V's right there. And how about that? I was an old hard rocker when I was a kid, and we've got a new heavy metal band. We're going to go record an album, and we're writing like hard rock songs for middle age and beyond, with titles like "Get Off My Lawn" and "Teenage Daughter," which is had 2 of those so far. So I guess that's the 3rd one now. So.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So Matthew, this has been a sheer pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Business Shop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.